My name is Mike, and I'm the owner and operator of the YouTube channel StreetSpeed717, and this is my garage. I started my YouTube channel in 2015, and most people know me from the Corvettes or the Hellcat, but what a lot of people might not know is that I actually started with a 1992 Chevy truck. And unfortunately, looking back now, I wouldn't have deleted those videos because they would just be fun. But you know, when I did look back and I was trying to get more professional, I didn't want them there. But I had a lot of fun. You know, made some early off-roading videos, a couple of installs and things like that. But when I got my Corvette, that's when I really wanted to dive into YouTube and make a serious channel. So I started with a Corvette Stingray, and then one of the big moments for the channel really was getting the Hellcat, and it was kind of a risk. You know, I wanted to get that car because it was really hot at the time, and I figured it would generate a lot of interest and gain me subscribers, and luckily it worked out. But most people, it's funny, it shows, the most common thing I get it shows is, hey, I started watching you when you had the Hellcat. But from the Hellcat, I went to a Z06. Good afternoon, everyone. Mike here, doing the reveal today for the new car for the StreetSpeed717 YouTube channel. And I am doing this video a little bit earlier than I had originally wanted to. Of course, a lot of people already found out what the car is, and we'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, here it is. Without further ado, the new car, a 2016 Corvette Z06, of course. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I am more excited about this car than I was about the original Corvette, and I was about the Hellcat, and I think that it's just kind of a mix between both. And after the Z06 purchase and after that car was wrapped, that's when I hit 100,000 subscribers, and the channel really started to grow pretty quick. You guys pretty much know the story from there. I mean, from the first Z06, I got another one, then a Mclaren, and a few other cars here and there, and of course the Duramax behind Pat has always been here. But when it comes to the 717 kind of group overall, and the people in our area that make YouTube videos, it was all started by accident. So basically, about a year and a half ago, I met Nick, Duramax ZL1. And at the time that we first met, we met at a little local car meet, and he was not uploading YouTube videos. He had a channel, but it was all, I think, band stuff. And he was in a band, and he had explained to me that you know, he wasn't really happy with the band at the time. He felt like he was putting in a lot of work and not seeing a lot out of it, and he felt like his peers weren't putting in the same amount of work. So I said, hey man, have you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel? Because you know, what you put in is what you get out. And one thing led to another, and soon we were racing our cars in Mexico. And since then, you know, his channel has really grown, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And he eventually took his Camaro to get headers installed at a different shop, wasn't happy with it, and he found Andy on a Camaro forum. So, from getting his parts installed with Andy, I of course met Andy, and 2 Corvette builds later, Andy and I are still great friends. Of course, one of the first things that Nick and I tried to convince Andy to do after meeting him and becoming friends was create his own YouTube channel, which he did, and now he's at 150,000 subscribers. After my first Z06, I really wanted to get the car protected, and I had heard about XPEL, and my friend Troy, who I had met before with the Hellcat, who I didn't even talk about Troy yet. Troy reached out to me on Instagram even before Nick. I forgot about this, and he said, hey man, you know, I have a Lamborghini, I see what you're doing on social media, I like it, I want to get involved. And Troy and I ended up going car shopping. That video is still on the channel. Most of these videos are. But we ended up going car shopping at Sun Motor Cars, and we've been friends ever since. So back to the point, when I wanted to get my first Z06 protected, I had heard about XPEL, and I know that I had known that Troy had his Lamborghini protected with XPEL from a guy named Shane. And I didn't know anything about Shane, didn't know who he was, never met him before, but I texted Troy and I said, hey, were you happy with the XPEL job on your Lambo, and who's the guy who did it? So Troy put me in touch with Shane, and well, the rest is history. After getting the Z06 XPEL'd, I talked to Shane about getting a wrap. He had crazy ideas. We had this Supercars on State Street charity show coming up where the competition was for a crazy art themed wrap, and that's when the first tie-dye wrap happened for the Corvette. All right, here we go. So we're about to see the big reveal of the Z06 behind this garage door. Try to give a countdown. 3, 2, 1.
videos
videos I made with that rap were huge. The first one being, Old Man Hates My Corvette at GM Nationals.
Which is this color with all this.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
It's okay. I wonder why he made the decision to do this. Yeah, there you go. Apparently Mike has too much money, he doesn't know what to do with.
The video grew to over 1.5 million views in a pretty short amount of time, and just from that video being live, in about a month, I gained 50,000 subscribers. As you all know, Shane and I have been not only great friends, but business partners for the last about a year and a half. So let's go back to the very beginning with my 1992 Chevy and when I uploaded my first ever YouTube video. And I had no idea that you could make money on YouTube. Of course, I had no idea that this was going to be my career. But I really liked what Rob Freddy was doing with super speeders, hence the name Street Speed, where I got that, and then 717, my area code. I liked what he was doing, and another huge inspiration for me was Subaru WRX fan, now Mclaren Motoring. He bought a new Mustang, and he did this kind of weekly update on the car, and it was really showing you what it was like to own the vehicle. And I thought, well, if I get a new vehicle, that's what I want to do. And if you look back at the very beginning when I bought the Corvette, the first Stingray, that's really what I did. I just kind of uploaded once every 3 or 4 days. I talked about the options I got on the car. I talked about the first service. I talked about how the first 1,000 miles felt. And of course, the big trend, which is still kind of going on today, I talked about 5 things I love and 5 things I hate. So when it comes to all the people around me here in the area and, you know, convincing, not really convincing, but encouraging people like Nick and Troy and Shane and Andy to start a YouTube channel, it really all stems from a love of cars. You know, it's not about trying to make it a career. Not everyone's gonna have 1 million subscribers. 3 years in, I'm like halfway there. But, you know, I love it. I love waking up every day doing something that I genuinely enjoy. And I see the joy that it gives other people, because even the people that aren't doing it full time really get excited. And of course, when I met Pat here behind the camera, you know, we first met and I just had contacted him on Instagram about taking some pictures of my truck. And he had a small channel at the time, and you know, I encouraged him also to start. And basically, it's just really fun having so many people nearby and being able to, you know, hang out with your friends and do car stuff all the time. It's even better when the people can make a little money off of it doing YouTube, and then they have more freedom. I think it's kind of unique what we're doing because, and there's a lot of other people starting here as well, but it is unique because Florida car culture is huge, California is huge, Texas is huge, even New York, but I wouldn't say there's a big car culture in PA, and yet the amount of YouTubers in PA and YouTubers with pretty big channels is astounding. I mean, just in this little area. So I think that's really cool and something I've always looked at as being something unique to us. Well, I was a little kid, you know, like most people, with my best friend, like most guys, I think. And the way you start is you have your Matchbox cars and your Hot Wheels and your models and everything, and the ones that people send me, just like that. And that's what I started with. And I'm not really sure why. My family was never really big into cars. My one brother is, but the other one isn't. My sister's not. So I'm not really sure why I've loved them so much, but ever since I was a little kid, I did. You know, I would see a cool one on the road and I would look at it, especially Corvettes. You know, you do see them a lot. So Corvettes have always been something I've loved. So I'm not really sure why I love them as much as I do, but it really is my passion in life. I mean, without cars, truly, this might sound a little extreme, but I wouldn't have too much of a reason to live if it weren't for cars. All right, so we're gonna do a little garage tour here as well. Now, we're gonna start with the Daily Driver Toyota. Now, that's not my daily, that is my girlfriend's. I upgraded her for Christmas. That was a great video.
You did not buy me a car. You did not buy me a car. You did not buy me that car.
said you wanted one, babe. How long have you been talking about?
Wow.
But a lot of people gave me crap because I had a McLaren at the time and she had an old Hyundai. And believe me, the plan was always to get her something new, but I wanted it to be special, so I waited until Christmas. Moving on to the Z06 here. It's a pretty heavily modified Z, full bolt-on car, ported blower, throttle body. You can see I have K-Tech valve covers, relocation brackets, a fuel system, coolant expansion tank, everything you can imagine done to the car. The car is not currently tuned and it's not currently done. The build really is kind of like halfway. We still have to do a 6-point cage and some other things. But right now the car is a monster, sounds amazing. Anyway, I can't wait to get it out on the street and get it down to the strip for our call out events. Gonna be crazy. Moving on to the McLaren, this was a huge moment for me personally and for the channel because I've been talking about, I mean, the vlogs way back in the day with the Corvette, I've been talking about, you know, I want a Lamborghini or something. I could never obviously afford one. And I've wanted one for a long time. Then McLaren's came out. The Lambo, by the way, was always my favorite car. I mean, the Corvette was my dream car, my accessible dream car, something I thought that I could buy one day. Lamborghini was always like, if I was super rich somehow, I'd buy one. But when McLaren started coming out with road cars in 2011, and the 12C, I really liked it. And then when the 570 came out, when I compared a Huracan and a 570, I mean, this thing just blows it out of the water pretty much in every way. So I ended up going with a 570, and it was, like I said, a huge moment because this is my first, what people would consider a supercar, and it was a huge accomplishment. I had, you know, the whole family here when it got delivered. Now, no cheating, so before it comes out of the trailer, what car do you think it's gonna be and what color? Put your guesses down below. That is so cool, by the way, how that works. This is very suspenseful, Troy. Very suspenseful. The noise! Oh!
What car do you guys think it's gonna be?
That's right! The Volcano Orange 570S is the new McLaren on the SS717 channel. Oh my God, the color gets better in the sunlight. And it's something I'm really proud of, and I just love it. It's such a great car, and even though it's painful for some people to hear this, it is my favorite car, even more than the Corvettes. Moving on to the little Volkswagen over here in the corner, sitting in its corner. This is a Volkswagen Corrado that I picked up for $1,000 because I knew the guy who had it in storage for a while. I knew he wasn't doing anything with it, so I figured, what the hell, if I offer him some money, maybe he'll let it go. So that's the story of the Corrado. Ever since, it's just kind of been sitting because I do want to start it. It is going to be, it's a project car. It is going to be a cool build. It's going to be a Volkswagen build, so not like high horsepower. We're talking about maybe stance and other visual things. I'm consulting Pat on how to properly do that. But eventually, I will start with the Corrado. Either way, it's a really cool little car, and I think these are going to go up in value. This is a VR61, and it's in great condition, so I don't think I'm losing anything having it sit. Then for the last vehicle and the most important one, that is the Duramax, which has always been around, always been on the channel. And I was a truck guy before I was a car guy. I love trucks, always have. My first vehicle that I bought in high school was a 1989 Chevy, and then I had the 92. But I've just always loved trucks. I didn't really necessarily love Chevy trucks. I just wanted a truck. My budget was like $1,500 in high school. So I looked at Ford, Chevys, and Dodges, and then the right one just came along. It happened to be a Chevy, and I've loved them ever since. Getting a Duramax, getting a diesel truck was always the end goal. And 2.5 years ago, I could afford one, and I bought one, and I've loved this thing ever since. Definitely my favorite vehicle. The McLaren might be my favorite car, but the truck is my favorite vehicle. You can see it's definitely not stock, highly modified, lifted. The build on this has always been continuing. You can see right here in the back of the truck we have a new lift kit going on, so it's going to get higher. And I've never stopped modifying the truck. You know, every time I think I'm done, I just see something else cool, another idea on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do that. So the Duramax, always a work in progress and always a vehicle that will be here. So the question of, you know, did I think any of this was going to be possible? And the answer is no. You know, like I mentioned briefly, I didn't even know you could make money off of YouTube, and it has dramatically, obviously, changed my life. I would never be in this position. I mean, you know, this is my only income, and to get to wake up every day and do something that you love, like I talked about, is something that is more valuable even than money. You know, it's just you wake up every day and you're happy and you just love what you do. And I get to spend all day with cars and doing fun, oftentimes stupid shit with friends. So YouTube is an amazing platform. The fact that anybody can do that, there's nothing, it's not like TV where you have to have an in, very few people get on, and it's like a whole process. Anybody can get on YouTube. Anybody can start making videos. And even if, you know, you're not 10 million subscribers making 100 grand a month, even if you're making 5 grand a month, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's great money. And a lot of people can accomplish that. So the platform of YouTube is amazing. It's changing lives. It has changed my life. It has changed all the lives of people I know around me, which is kind of what we're talking about in this video. And anybody who says, you know, you can't do it, just look at what we talked about. Look at all the people around here and around me and everything, and you see that it's possible and it's happening for more and more people every day. So YouTube is definitely great. I would encourage everyone to start a channel. Like I've said, you know, if it is your passion, if you want to get in it for the money, I think you're going to fail because you're going to have to upload and grind for a very long time before you see a dime. I think it definitely took me over 5 months. I believe it was month number 6 of making videos 3 or 4 times a week that I finally hit the $100 threshold on Google to get paid. Google AdSense won't pay you until you hit $100. So it took me about 5.5 months to finally reach $100. So that's a couple thousand hours, tens of thousands of hours of work for $100. So I wouldn't get in it for the money, and I wouldn't see, you know, the money as being the goal, but it is something that can happen. And I know that some people have been getting discouraged lately from starting a channel because of the new monetization rules from YouTube. You know, even on my videos, I've had a lot get demonetized, which it doesn't mean you can't make money off of it. It just means that it might not be suitable for most advertisers if you swear and do other things, because that's not ad friendly. But even with all that, you know, it is like the new restrictions are you have to have 4,000 hours of total watch time and 1,000 subscribers in the last 12 months. You essentially have 12 months to do that. But even with those, you know, it's not hard to reach those goals, and like I've said, I definitely wouldn't let that discourage you. You just kind of have to start making the videos and really have fun with it and figure out what you want to do, and then the rest, the details all fall into place. And you look at all that YouTube has given me, not just personally, but with events like the Call Out, for example. You know, our Call Out events, and we're gonna have many more this season. Those are insane. I mean, we have thousands of people come out, drive from all over. People drive from 10, 12 hours away. But it's just so cool to bring all those people together, and that's all due to YouTube. You know, we have all the people, we have other YouTubers. Salamandran came in from California, Parker came in from California, other YouTubers coming in. It's a great place for small channels to meet up and get content, and it's really cool that YouTube has given us that as well, which that would never happen without it. So 100,000 subscribers today on YouTube isn't that much, really. Quite a few channels have 100K. But getting this plaque was one of the coolest moments of my life. And hopefully I'll be having a 1 million plaque soon. You know, it comes in this is how it comes from YouTube. Like really nice, ready to hang on the wall. So I think it's pretty cool. So I hope you all enjoyed this brief history of myself and the others here making content in the 717. It's been a great journey so far. I want to thank you all for your support, and I'm looking forward to a lot more fun to come. So I hope you learned something. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this brief history of myself and the 717. So I hope you enjoyed this brief history of myself and the other people here making content in the 717.